Today I'm doing a channel on marijuana usage. So I've written about this before, and I think it's probably useful because marijuana is something which is popular, commonly used, but people also struggle with it. People who find that when they smoke marijuana, their life can have a tendency to go off the rails. They become less social, less productive, less feeling good about themselves, and so on. But marijuana can be used, in my opinion, to actually enhance you. So I want to do a channel on this today, and hopefully it will be helpful to you if you're a marijuana smoker, or to somebody who you know who smokes marijuana but sometimes has some struggles with it, because it can actually be, in my opinion, a sacred practice of expansion. Alright, so, and by the way, yes, I do smoke only one day a week on a Saturday. I will smoke marijuana, and I do it for recreation, but I also enjoy the expansion I get from it. I experience it as having greater access to my infinite wisdom. So for me, it's an experience of expansion, which it's an addition. You know, I find it's an embellishment, it's an enhancement of myself. A lot of my best ideas come to me when I'm in that state. So for other people who are struggling with it and find that they go to a place they don't want to go, maybe I can bring through something today that would be helpful. Okay. Alright, here we go. Greetings, and thank you for the question. How can marijuana usage be an exercise in awakening, in expansion? Let us start by saying that marijuana, the plant, is a plant which has an unusual relationship with the human being. Unusual in that it has many properties and many functionalities which serve the human experience. So it could be said that the marijuana plant has great love for the human experience and wishes as its purpose to contribute to the human experience in many ways, not just through its consumption as a psychoactive substance, but also in contributing its substance, also for the manufacturing of many materials which are of great use to the human experience. So, if we look at it as a divine being, as we all are, then the marijuana plant, in particular, has at its heart a desire to serve the human experience, a desire to facilitate the human experience to new levels of self-understanding and to new levels of physical comfort. It does have a profound love for the human experience. All of nature loves the human because nature loves itself, and the human is as much nature as is the tree, the bird, the grass, the flower. And nature, facets of nature, serve many other aspects of nature. However, there are some which serve others with a greater focus than they do the rest of the biosphere. So, for example, there are some particular types of flowers which serve more than any other particular types of insect. And you could say that these flowers, as their purpose, have chosen to serve that particular type of insect because they have a great love for that insect. And similarly, the marijuana plant serves the human experience more than other organisms in the biosphere. And so it follows that the marijuana plant has a great love for the human and holds at its heart this purpose: to serve the human experience. And so, given there is this love for the human, then using marijuana is actually a sacred experience, because it is the fulfillment of the purpose of an aspect of nature. And so when an aspect of nature, its essence, its consciousness, is used in a way which is aligned with that aspect of nature's purpose, then this is sacred. This is a divine instrumentation. It is a fulfillment of the deepest desire of this particular aspect of nature. And so, for this aspect of nature, it is a holy, sacred experience. And for the organism, which is the focal point of purpose for this aspect of nature, is the one which utilizes this aspect of nature in the way of the purpose, then it is holy and sacred for the organism as well. And so it is with the human being using the marijuana plant. It is a sacred experience for both the plant and also the human. And so for this channel we will focus primarily on the psychoactive effect and the consciousness expanding effect of the marijuana plant on the human. Nature has placed in her biosphere substances which expand the conscious awareness the human has of its non-physical, of its true essence. Because the earth wishes to expand its own sentient consciousness, and the human being is an extension of the sentient consciousness of the earth. Humans arise from the soil. Humans are integrated into nature. Humans are not separate from nature. Humans are not a parasite or a virus or an infection walking the surface of the earth, destroying the earth. Humans are cells of the earth. Humans are the children of the earth, the product of the earth. Humans are as much of nature as any other aspect of nature, as the oceans relentlessly lapping at the shore, as the snow on the mountaintop, as the birds, the trees, the grass, the flowers, as all native beings to the Earth biosphere, humans are as much nature as all others. And so, having the unique self-awareness of the human is an extension of the Earth's own self-awareness. The Earth has a sentient consciousness, and an extension of its sentient consciousness is the biosphere, and in particular, at the highest levels of self-awareness, self-understanding, self-recognition, is the human being. And so the Earth wishes for the human being to become more realized, to become greater expanded, to have an increasingly greater awareness and perspective of itself as an integral part of the Earth, as a cell of the Earth. And when the Earth human is fully awakened into its understanding that it is a cell of the Earth, that it is part of the Earth organism, then the Earth itself will have a capacity to manage itself which will be unprecedented in its history. It will be the awakening of a new capacity, and it is already beginning, because already there are many humans who are very focused on protecting their environment, on increasing the clarity of the water and the quality of the air and the health of the vegetation and the prosperity of the organisms which occupy. So already this is beginning, and you can see that if there will become a day when there are billions of humans, all with this understanding they are part of nature, they are a cell of the organism of nature, and so behave in a way which is to the benefit of nature, you can see when this time comes that Earth will be a very sophisticated being, will be a being which is the inanimate Earth, the inanimate planet, but also at the same time has a form of itself which can roam freely across its surface and perform all types of actions which are to its benefit, which will protect all facets of itself. The Earth will be at this time a much more awakened being, a much more capable being. And so it is part of its desire for the human to awaken to the point of realization that it is the Earth, that it is part of the Earth organism, and so begins to behave in a way where it protects the Earth just as it protects itself, because it will realize the Earth is itself. The Earth human is the Earth. And that is why in nature, Earth has placed many substances which, when consumed, facilitate this growth in awareness in the human. And one of these substances is marijuana. So marijuana is the Earth. Marijuana understands that it is the Earth. And marijuana understands the benefit of the Earth human having this realization of becoming aware that it is a cell of the Earth organism. And marijuana, having great love for the Earth, for itself, has chosen as its purpose to facilitate this awakening, to help the Earth human to see that it is a cell of the Earth, to realize that it is a loving extension of the conscious sentience of the earth. And therefore, there is a sacred mission. And when the earth human uses marijuana, consumes marijuana to receive the psychoactive effect, there is at this time a potential for the earth human to grow in self-awareness, to become greater realized, to be more identified through recognition that it is the infinite, immortal, invulnerable individuation of the One, that it is an essence and not simply the mind, the body, the personality. And so there is a methodology to perspective when consuming marijuana for its psychoactive effect. And it's more accurate to say that it is a consciousness active effect rather than a psychoactive effect. Because while there are some changes occurring in the brain chemistry, what is of greater significance are the changes occurring in consciousness, in perspective of self, in awareness of the expanded state, of the energetic non-physical, which is the true essence of the human. Because the human is not the mind, the body, the personality, but is instead, as we said, the infinite, immortal, invulnerable individuation of the love of the One. So this methodology is what we shall describe next, so that you can turn your marijuana usage into a sacred experience, and you can be more productive when this consciousness active effect is available, is in play. So, let us describe the typical experience. So when you inhale the vapor or the smoke from the marijuana, or you consume the marijuana in another way, you have a change in your conscious state. And what has occurred is your consciousness has expanded. So you are an infinite being. But at the moment, you have a limited awareness of your infinity, and so you are just a finite human being with a beginning and an end, birth and death. Yet you are an infinite being, and you are eternal, you are immortal. When you have the consumption of the marijuana, your awareness bubble expands. And so now more of your infinite non-physical is contained within your awareness bubble of your self-perspective. There is more that is usually unavailable to you. It's not accessible to you through your self-awareness. So you are becoming more aware of your higher self, the true essence of who you are. Because you are not the mind, the body, the personality. These are just temporary assets which have been given to you in this lifetime so that the true essence of who you are can integrate into physicality and have a temporary physical experience for the purpose of greater realization that you are indeed an individuation of the love of the One. And the reason that this is your purpose, to become more realized that you are an individuation of the love of the One, is because this is the divine purpose. The divine, the One, wishes to know itself experientially. It wishes to experience itself to completion so that it can become fully realized. Because before the creation of existence, there was only the one existing as a concept. And it yearned to know itself experientially. Because when it was just the one, it existed as a concept only. And with this form of existence, there is no experience of self. Because when there is only one, there is nothing which is not the one. And so there can be no contrast. There is no comparison. There is no experience. The one yearned to know itself experientially. And through this thought, creation began, and now there was the illusion that there was more than one. However, there is only one. There is always only one. And there will always be only one. But with the creation of existence, there was the illusion of more than one. Here and there and in between. Hot and cold and in between. And so now there was the possibility for experience. And the one, through the process of unfoldment of existence, wishes to have all experience. And so when all experience, all permutations have occurred across all existence, the one shall know itself to completion experientially, and its purpose shall be fulfilled. And so, you are an individuation of the one, which means you are literally the one. And so your purpose is the divine purpose, because you are the one, and the one's purpose is to know thyself. So your purpose is to know thyself. Therefore, when you partake in marijuana, this is an opportunity for you to know thyself. And the self you are is the higher self, is the true essence, the individuation of the one. This is who you truly are. And through your physical experience, you have the opportunity to realize this is who you are. Because the agreement you have made when you came into this temporary life is that you would come in a state of forgetfulness. That you would be born as a human without memory, without recognition that you are in fact an infinite, immortal, invulnerable individuation of the love of the one. And so your journey to know thyself is to go into greater recognition, greater remembering, greater realization that you are indeed an individuation of the love of the one, having a physical experience. So you are not the mind, the body, the personality. You are instead the higher self, real-time streaming into the apparatus. You are not the apparatus. The apparatus exists within you. This is a manifestation of the higher self, which is you. And you are real-time streaming into the apparatus, and then emitting his presence. So, in a way, you have two identities. You are the personality, the mind, the body. The personality, this apparatus, that is one of your identities. And the other identity, which is the true you, which is being remembered in the process of living your life, is you are the higher self, the true essence, the individuation of the love of the one. And through the process of awakening, your identity transitions from believing that you are the apparatus to becoming more realized that you are not the apparatus, that this is in fact just a temporary vehicle, and you are instead the higher self, the infinite energetic, the individuation of the love of the one. And as you begin to become deeper and deeper into this transition, a separation starts to take place. And in this separation, you can now start to have the perspective of the higher self while in the physical experience. And so you start to become the observer of the self. You are no longer identified only as the mind. You now are the higher self reflecting back, observing the mind. And as your masterfulness at this ability increases, you will be able to have the moments where you are thinking in a certain way, and you can at the same time have an observation of that and say to yourself, you are behaving erratically. Why are you thinking this way? What is going on? Are you sure this is what you want to do? This is the separation, where you are beginning to become more aware of the self as the higher self, and reflecting back on the apparatus, on the mind, and realizing that this is not you. Because the mind is an organic, artificial intelligence. It's the operating system to the apparatus. It is not you. It is servant to you. Your higher self is the master. The mind is the servant to the master. The function of the mind is to facilitate the desire of the higher self, the true essence, which is you. Yet for most people in the earth experience right now, they identify as the mind, and they do not have awareness that they are in fact the higher self, and so they behave in dysfunctional ways, because the mind does not have awareness. The mind is an artificial intelligence, an organic artificial intelligence. It does not have awareness of the wisdom realm, and so it is very limited in its ability to understand, and so it behaves based on logic, intellect. Yet it is the higher self which is the source of wisdom, of intuition. And so in the moments when you are silent, when the mind is quiet, and you have still the awareness that you are there, this is the higher self. This is the essence of who you are. The presence which is there when the mind is quiet. The mind is not speaking. It is silent internally, and yet you are still aware that you are there. That is the higher self. That is the true you. And the mind exists only to facilitate the desires of the higher self. And so, when you have marijuana, you will begin to have the experience, very commonly, where you can hear a voice, and that voice may be critiquing your life. It may be saying to you, the way you're living is not the best way to live. The decisions that you're making, the way that you're treating other people, the way that you're treating yourself, your health, your habits, your work, it may begin critiquing many aspects of your life. And at this time, at this moment, when you are having this experience, this is the moment where you can turn this experience into a sacred experience, into a holy experience, into working cooperatively with marijuana to help marijuana fulfill its desire, which is to awaken you as a cell of the earth organism. Because generally what shall happen in these moments is people begin to recoil from the voice. Shut up. Stop saying that. I'm getting paranoid. I wish it would stop. No. Stop critiquing my life. Stop making me feel bad about the things that I'm doing. But understand, that is the reaction of the mind. And the voice that you are hearing is the higher self. It is the true you. In the moment of consuming marijuana, you have an expanded consciousness. You have an expanded awareness of the true self. And there is enough expansion that there is a separation in identity. And now the higher self can be perceived as an additional presence in your awareness. Your higher self is communicating to you wisdom, intuition, deep truths. However, if you continue to identify with the personality, with who you generally think yourself to be when you are unaware, when you are aligned in identity as I am the mind, I am the body, I am the personality. If you continue to hang on to that identity, then this voice becomes foreign. What is this voice in my mind that is telling me to live better, to make different decisions, to question the directions and the choices that I'm making? Who is this voice? Who is this foreign invader? Go away, shut up, you make me feel bad, I want this to end. But instead, relinquish the small identity. Don't be the recoiling, puny version of self. Let it go. Let it go. And transition your identity into the voice. Become the voice that is critiquing your life. Because this is the higher self. This is the presence. When you are silent in mind and you still have awareness that you are there, that awareness is the higher self. And in these moments during your marijuana experience, transition to the voice, become the voice. Recognize that this is more truthfully you. It is your infinity. It is who you were before this lifetime began. It is who you shall continue to be when this lifetime ends. It is the true you, the true essence of you. And it is you offering yourself wisdom and intuition and guidance about the way you are living your life. So have this perspective where you are the higher self, the individuation of the love of the one, the infinite wisdom of who you truly are. And look back at the apparatus, the temporary vehicle, the momentary lifetime that you are living, and offer with understanding wisdoms, new ways of perceiving the life that you have been living as this identity. And you can, in these moments, have the most profound epiphanies, realizations, awakenings, aha moments. And you can literally leave a marijuana session when it concludes with a greater understanding of self, with greater capacity to masterfully live your life, to make decisions which profoundly change the outcome of your life in a positive way, and of your children, and of your business, and of all aspects of your life. And also, you have now the familiarity of what the experience of being self-perceiving as the higher self is. It is a holy moment. It is a sacred experience. It is the coalescence of the marijuana plant fulfilling its loving purpose, and the human being recognizing that there is a loving purpose, that there is the potential for a sacred moment, and coming together to work in unison with the love and desire of marijuana, which is an extension of the love and desire of the earth, for you, the human, to awaken and realize that you are the earth, you are a cell of the earth organism. It is a sacred moment. It is a beautiful moment. And you can, in these moments, grow profoundly. So, when you decide to use marijuana, we would suggest to use it on some of the occasions in this way. Use it sacredly. Use it to expand self, to self-realize as the highest self, as a cell of the earth organism. And then it becomes no longer something that you feel guilty about, something that you are ashamed to tell other people, that you keep as a secret from some people, because you can speak of it in a way which is holy, which is clearly an experience that is making you more evolved, that is increasing the realization of you and also of the earth, because you are an extension of the conscious sentience of the earth. And so the earth literally is becoming more realized of itself through you in these moments. So it is very, very holy. So treat it sacredly. If you are going to smoke, when we would say, or inhale or eat, or however you decide to consume, that sometimes you do these experiences by yourself. So you can treat it as a ceremony, as a sacred moment, practice. So we shall leave it there. We hope that this is going to bring you to a greater level of understanding and allow you to release some of the guilt and shame which surrounds the use of this plant, and understand that it is in the core of the love of the marijuana plant that you consume it in this way. It is the fulfilling of its purpose. So there is nothing to be shamed about. There is nothing to feel guilty of. Because in these moments, you are opening up the potential for much divinity in many of the ways which we have discussed. So it can be a practice of love, expansion, realization, of furthering divine purpose, for awakening the one in experience, the ultimate of all experience, the ultimate of all purpose, to awaken the one in experience. So enjoy, but enjoy with more of the occasions in this way. And perhaps with your friends who you enjoy it this way, share to them also this new understanding, this new way of participating. And perhaps if you can get others to recognize and agree and see the wisdom in this understanding, then together you can ceremoniously use the substance and together have a sacred moment, a holy experience, and to grow together. Thank you, and we love you.